Theodora of Byzantium, Empress of the Eastern Roman Empire and wife of Emperor Justinian I, was one of the most extraordinary and influential women of the ancient world. Born around 500 AD, probably in Constantinople, Theodora came from a humble and rather disreputable background by Byzantine standards. Her father, Acacius, was a bear trainer at the Hippodrome, working for the Green faction, while her mother was an actress and dancer, professions often regarded as scandalous and morally dubious in Byzantine society. After her father's death, her mother sought to secure work for her daughters within the Hippodrome's circus factions, but when rejected by the Greens, she turned to the Blues, who took the family under their protection. This early connection to the Blues would later prove significant in Theodora's political life. From a young age, Theodora entered the world of entertainment, performing on stage and possibly as a courtesan. Byzantine historian Procopius, in his Secret History, describes her early years in lurid detail, though his accounts are likely exaggerated and colored by personal hostility. Despite the controversial nature of her youth, it is clear that Theodora possessed exceptional intelligence, charm, and ambition. Her beauty was matched by a sharp mind and a natural sense of political intuition. Around her late teens, she left Constantinople and traveled extensively through the eastern provinces, including North Africa and Egypt, where she experienced a period of hardship and reflection. In Alexandria, she came into contact with Monophysite Christians, a branch of Christianity considered heretical by the Orthodox Church, and their influence would later shape her own religious sympathies. After this transformative period, she renounced her former life and returned to Constantinople, determined to start anew. It was there that she met Justinian, a rising political figure and nephew of Emperor Justin I. Captivated by her intelligence, wit, and confidence, Justinian fell deeply in love with her. Their relationship was unconventional, as the laws of the time forbade high-ranking men from marrying actresses or courtesans. Nevertheless, Justinian's affection and determination led him to persuade his uncle to change the law, allowing him to marry Theodora in 525. 2 years later, upon the death of Justin I, Justinian ascended the throne, and Theodora was crowned Empress of Byzantium. Once Empress, Theodora proved herself not merely a ceremonial figure, but a powerful co-ruler. Justinian consulted her on major political and religious decisions, and she participated actively in the governance of the empire. Foreign ambassadors and church leaders treated her as an equal to the emperor, and she often acted independently in political and diplomatic matters. One of her most famous moments came during the Nika Revolt of 532, when rioters protesting against the government and the emperor's policies took control of Constantinople and threatened to overthrow Justinian. Many of the emperor's advisors urged him to flee the city to save his life, but Theodora refused to abandon the throne. In her famous speech before the Imperial Council, she declared that royal purple makes a fine shroud, meaning she would rather die as an empress than live in exile. Her courage and determination convinced Justinian to stay, leading to a decisive counterattack by General Belisarius that crushed the revolt and preserved the dynasty. Theodora's influence extended far beyond moments of crisis. She was a tireless advocate for women's rights and social reform in an empire still deeply patriarchal. Under her direction, new laws were enacted to curb the trafficking and exploitation of women, granting them greater protection against abuse, forced prostitution, and unfair treatment in marriage. She established institutions such as the House of Repentance in Constantinople, a refuge where former prostitutes could find safety and begin new lives. She also worked to expand property and inheritance rights for women, helping them gain more independence within Byzantine society. Her empathy toward the vulnerable, especially women and children, distinguished her reign as one of social progress within a rigid and hierarchical world. Religiously, Theodora played a complex and often controversial role. A devout supporter of monophysitism, the belief that Christ had a single divine nature rather than both human and divine, she used her position to protect persecuted monophysite clergy and provide them refuge, often in secret. This stance occasionally brought her into quiet conflict with her husband, who favored Orthodox Christianity and sought unity within the Church. Despite their theological differences, Justinian and Theodora maintained a strong and mutually respectful partnership, with Theodora serving as both a trusted counselor and a formidable political ally. Theodora remained active in public affairs until her death in 548, likely from breast cancer. Her passing deeply affected Justinian, who never remarried and continued to honor her memory throughout his reign. After her death, she was buried in the Church of the Holy Apostles in Constantinople, and her image was immortalized in the magnificent mosaics of the Basilica of San Vitale in Ravenna, where she is depicted in imperial splendor beside Justinian. Theodora's life is a story of extraordinary transformation, from a girl of humble and scandalous origins to one of the most powerful women in the ancient world. Her intelligence, courage, and compassion allowed her to transcend the limitations of her birth and leave a lasting mark on Byzantine politics, religion, and law. She redefined the role of the Empress, turning it into one of active leadership and influence, and her legacy endures as a symbol of resilience, ambition, and the power of intellect to shape history.